Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we now know what led to another delay in a Perry County murder trial.
And police in Pulaski County arrested 3 people they say were dealing drugs with young children living in the home.
Plus, the bones found Sunday in Perry County are bringing people missing across the region back into the spotlight.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. The time is 6:31 on November 20th. I'm Madison Pergram.
And I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning on this Wednesday.
On this Wednesday, we finally got the gang back together. We're getting in the groove. It's taken a little while.
It's a good hump day.
It is a good hump day. Well, let's go to Brandon. Brandon, it's a little warmer, so maybe not as big of a jacket, a lighter jacket.
Yep, exactly. I think you'll probably need a rain jacket a little bit this morning. You know what what Hump Day reminds me of is the commercial, the Hump Day with the camel. People hate that commercial. But anyway, let's get into the forecast this morning. Let's start with the Pikeville Medical Center camera zoomed in there on the road that goes back toward US 23 there, and you can see the wet roads this morning. Not much fog over there so far. We take a look at our visibility numbers across the region though, and you see some dense fog in some locations, and that's Valley and Ridge this morning. We've been watching both of those cameras across the region, and that's basically the theme. And we're going to continue to see those milder temperatures. As Madison mentioned, we're going to see 39 in Wise, but 45 in Jacksboro. Everybody else in the low 40s there. 50 the forecast high today, depending on how fast the clouds clear. If they clear faster, we may get a little bit above 50, not a whole lot above, but as we look at our headlines, clearing skies today. The cold front arrives though by Friday after a couple of days of brief break, and then some cooler temperatures as we get into Thanksgiving week. I'll have more on that coming up here in just a little bit. Madison.
Thank you, Brandon. Well, troopers found a body at a home yesterday afternoon in Harlan County. Troopers were called to a possible fight at a home in the Everts community. When they got to the home, they found no evidence of any fight. Instead, they found a man dead on the front porch.
Speaking with family members and neighbors of the area, they advised that the subject that's deceased possibly had several health issues.
In relation to those health issues, troopers at the scene said the coroner believes his death was due to natural causes.
Well, Sunday, the skeletal remains of a person were found in Perry County.
And while the remains are being identified in Frankfort, families of missing people across the mountains hold their breath.
I talked with one of those families to learn more about what this discovery means to them. The days that passed since May 7th, 2015 are summed up by 2 words.
Pure hell.
Miss Ola Chaffins is the grandmother of this woman, Natasha Fugit, who went missing more than 4 years ago.
You go down the road and you think, well, could she be there? You look on the mountain, could she be there? Where could she be?
The remains found Sunday do not give Miss Ola hope. Instead, they stretch the already deep wounds of a grandmother who just wants her granddaughter back.
You hope and pray that it's not. But on the other hand, you want closure. It's just, I don't know how to describe it.
Her emotions mixed, sadness to frustration to fear.
There's always somebody missing. She'll always be missing, but you just do the best you can every day.
Now, as work begins to identify those bones, this family holds on to different feelings.
But I hope and pray it's not her. As long as you don't know, you've got faith that she will show up sometime or other.
But they hold on to hope that one day Natasha will walk into their warm embrace. Now, there is still a $15,000 reward for information leading to where Natasha Fugit is or who may have played a role in her disappearance.
And a murder trial is underway in Whitley County. Chris Lowe and Lori Maddie are both charged with the murder of 36-year-old Michelle Marlowe. Deputies say the two beat her with a stick. It happened in July of 2017. Deputies say they found Marlowe dead inside a home on Old Mud Creek Road. A trail of blood led them to the victim and the suspects. Lowe and Maddie are also facing unlawful imprisonment charges.
Yesterday also saw a delay in a Leslie County trial. Gavin Wells faces a manslaughter charge. Police say in 2014 he shot and killed Christopher Sizemore. A hearing is set for December 4th to discuss a new trial date.
And we now know what led to another delay in a Perry County murder trial. Defense attorneys for James McIntosh tell us they filed a motion to move the trial to Knott County. The trial is now set to begin in January in Hindman. McIntosh is accused of shooting Danny Mullins multiple times earlier this year. Failure to seat a jury resulted in a mistrial last month in Perry County. Initially, the trial was reset for Breathitt County and scheduled to begin 2 days ago.
A Laurel County man admitted to causing a deadly crash that killed his mother. Chris Francis pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including second-degree manslaughter. Francis was driving on the wrong side of the road when he hit another car head-on. Police said blood work showed he was high on meth at the time of the crash. Francis's mother, Holly Francis, was a passenger in his car. She died of her injuries. The other driver and 2 young children were also injured. Sentencing for Francis is scheduled for Monday.
And police in Pulaski County arrested 3 people who say they were dealing drugs with young children living in the home. Casey Foster, Terry Eden, and Amber Cole were arrested after police investigated a home off Kentucky 80 west of Somerset. Officers say they found bags of heroin and other drug-related items in the home. They say there were also several guns, including one with the serial number scratched off. A 4-year-old and 10-year-old were also in the house. Their toys were found near the drugs.
Well, it's hard to believe that people put their children in those situations this day and time. I mean, that's just what it's come to. Pulaski County, there's a drug epidemic.
The trio faced drug trafficking and child endangerment charges, and police say social services placed the children with other relatives.
Meanwhile, a Pulaski County man is facing charges after police say his 5-year-old son with autism showed up to school with bruises. Somerset police arrested Gideon Wesley Monday. According to his arrest citation, the child knocked a gun rack off the wall, and the child would not get up when Wesley asked him to. Wesley then pulled him up by the neck of his shirt and dragged him down a hallway. The child had bruises on his face, neck, and ears. Wesley is charged with criminal abuse.
And an old church in Pike County was vandalized, and inside there are curse words painted on the walls, the piano destroyed, and a pew thrown into the baptistry.
Now a couple who believe they own it say they are worried about the future of the building. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher went to Belfry to see the damage firsthand.
The outside of Rogers Park Baptist Church may be grim,
but we were going to do something with it, and I wanted to carry it on.
Robert and Tina Fletcher say they had big plans for the building in the future.
Do something with the youth, some programs where we can incorporate the young kids in the area.
It looked like they had just had church service, closed the door, and just walked out. Everything was still in its place.
Those plans were destroyed when Robert walked in and saw a complete disaster.
All the pews are turned over completely. The walls are defaced.
The carpet crunchy with glass. The vandals even threw a pew into the baptistry.
If it wasn't broken, it was painted.
The duo just want an answer to one burning question. Why?
Whoever's done it has made a huge mistake. And that's on their soul, between them and God.
Although the vandals destroyed many of their items, they did not take the Fletchers' faith for the future.
We're not going to let the devil beat us.
In Pike County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
Troopers with Kentucky State Police Post 9 are investigating. If you have any information, you can call 606-433-7711. Tips can remain anonymous.
And in Western Kentucky, 2 rookie state troopers are in hot water after an accidental shooting. The 2 were moving into their second-floor apartment when they accidentally discharged a rifle into the floor. Nobody was hurt, but the bullet nearly struck a child who was playing downstairs. And according to a report, the troopers told sheriff's deputies that, quote, they were just moving in and had taken the magazine out of the rifle. They thought it was empty and the trigger was pulled and the gun went off, unquote. When asked if they had notified their sergeant at KSP, they told the deputies, we are getting ready to go out. The mother of the child says the troopers did not check on the family until the next day.
6:40 here on this Wednesday morning. We've been tracking a few stray showers and some drizzle across the area in the overnight hours, and that's continuing this morning. Not showing up real well on satellite and radar. It's really fine. You have to put the tuning up on pinpoint Doppler to see it, but some fog around this morning. Be careful of that. Temperatures in the 40s with the exception of Wise this morning. They're at 39. Your out the door forecast. We are going to continue to see some nice conditions for a while today after we get the clouds cleared out of here. 50 if we don't get the clouds cleared out fast enough. Maybe a little warmer than 50 if we do. Guys?
Thank you, Brandon, and thank you for joining Mountain News this morning.
Coming up, we'll have a pet in our studio looking for a good home.